Hello guys, and welcome to this guide on how to play Sohm. Sohm is the brand new 7-cost mage dragon, and Sohm is also Lagoon. Lagoon is the brand new vertical trait of the mid set, and it's basically an Econ trait that scales off of Lagoon units' spellcasts. And on top of that, it gives your Lagoon units extra AP and extra attack speed. Once you get Lagoon online, you summon a Sea Stone, and every time your Lagoon units cast a spell, the Sea Stone is gonna get a charge. The more you charge up the Sea Stone, the more crazy rewards you're gonna get. Champion duplicators, items, loaded dice, and even a Tactician's Crown at 600 stacks. The goal of this comp is to get Lagoon online as soon as possible, and then slam mana items and mana augments so your units are gonna cast more. This way you can farm a lot of Lagoon stacks, get a lot of rewards, and snowball into a massive late game. The best items on Sohm are Blue Buff, Jewel Gauntlet, +1, usually Morello, Giant Slayer, or Archangel Staff. And you can also go for Infinity Edge for that full crit build. Some great support items are Shiv and Spark. They shred the MR of the enemy team and make your Sohm deal more damage. And you can also go for Ice Creams, giving even more AP to your whole backline. On first carousel, you want to go for Tier that builds into these items, or you can go for Rod that builds into these items. Early game, you want to play around these core units. At level 5 we can play Zac. He's gonna give us a more frontline, and he's also a Lagoon unit, so he can give us even more Sea Stone stacks. If you hit a Silas early game, you wanna play Lux instead, and then we can swap out Skarner for Silas, giving us both Bruiser and Mage. At level 6 you wanna play any Dragonmancer. A set works, but Lee Sin is definitely the best one. And then we can Dragonmancer Kai'Sa and stack her with our early game damage items. You wanna get blue buff on her early, cause then she's gonna farm a lot of stacks and deal a lot of damage as well. And she's also really good at applying Morello to the enemy team. And here we want to put our tanky items on Silas. And there you go, that's the opener. At level 7, you want to start rolling for Sohm. Once you hit Sohm, you take out Lux and play Sohm instead. We keep 3 mage and now we have 6 Lagoon online. Then you need to find a replacement for Kai'Sa and put the items on Sohm. It's totally fine to put in another Kai'Sa here. Or if you hit a Seraphine, you can play her instead. Put her here so she can protect the backline with her spell. And from here you should try getting a 3rd damage item on Sohm. You want to position so your Sohm is always on the opposite side of the enemy team. This way you get the best possible angle on his ultimate. Now we can swap out Lee Sin and play Rakan instead, giving us Mystic. Then at level 8 we can play Zac, giving us another Lagoon unit and giving us Guardian. If you want to go for max Lagoon stacking, we can Zac Rakan and Zac Silas. And then we can play Seri and Neela for 9 Lagoon, meaning that we're gonna get so many stacks, and our whole team is also gonna get a lot of AP and a lot of attack speed. You want to put your tanky items on Zac, and you should definitely put a CC Rod on Malphite. With this comp we don't have a whole lot of frontline. You need a lot of frontline items, and you need to go for some kind of defensive augments. But don't worry, I'll get a lot deeper into which augments are good later in the guide. At level 9 you want to play Zoe, giving us 3 mage again. And you want to position like this here, so Seraphine can protect all of your units. Now at 500 stacks you're gonna get a Fawn, and then you definitely want to put in Rakan. He's gonna give you both Mystic and Guardian, so he's a lot of value to play. Plus his CC is super good. And for late game itemizations, you can go for Blue Buff Giant Slayer on Neela, and you can go for Shojin on Zoe, so she's gonna cast a lot more. If you get a Lagoon emblem, this one is really good on Zoe for the late game. It's gonna give her a lot of attack speed and AP, which is gonna do a lot of work. Then you can swap out Malphite for another legendary unit. Yasuo is great here, he provides your team with more frontline and more CC. But if you're in a lobby with a lot of magic damage, you wanna play Bard instead, giving us 3 Mystic. Now if you get a Mage emblem instead, you wanna put it on Neela. And then you want to swap out Rakan for Silas, giving us 5 mage and Bruiser. And that is it for the boards. If you already found any of this helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like on this video. That way you can help this channel grow so I can do more TFT guides in the future. Now let's get into leveling and Econ. The leveling for this comp uses the standard 4-cost leveling curve. First you need to decide if you want to pre-level into 2-1. You usually do this if you're sitting on Malphite and Taliyah and want greater odds of hitting your 2-cost Lagoon units. Else you level to 4 on 2-1. Next up, you need to decide if you want to pre-level into the carousel. You do this if you're win streaking, sitting on a lot of upgrades, and have a good unit you can play after carousel. If you can make 10 gold going into the carousel by not leveling, you usually want to take the 10 gold and then level to 5 after. See if you can hit 20 gold going into Crux, that's a sign of good Econ. On 3-2, you level to 6, and here you can roll a bit for upgrades and try to hit a strong board. You wanna do this if you're sitting on a lot of pairs and don't really have a lot of upgrades on your board. As a rule of thumb, you don't wanna roll below 20 so you can keep some econ throughout the stage. Getting used to a good leveling curve is absolutely essential for winning games. You're gonna win so many more games if you get used to playing like this here. On 4-1, we level to 7 and roll for our core units. You wanna roll until you're strong enough to face the lobby, since from stage 4 and on you're gonna take a lot more damage from losing fights. Again, try not to roll below 20 gold, since you still want some econ so you can go level 8. If you didn't have to roll too much on 4-1, you can go 8 on 4-5. If you had to roll a lot, you can do it on 5-1. And at level 8 you want to roll the majority of your gold. You're not gonna go level 9 before you hit Sohm 2 and a pretty much fully upgraded board. If you turbo high rolled at level 8 and hit your whole board for no gold at all, you can go fast 9 on 5-3, but normally you go 9 on 6-1, 6-3 or 6-5. Lastly, let's take a look at what augments are good when playing this comp. Earth's Grab Bag is an easy pickup. Since you only need a glove then, it makes it super easy to find a Lagoon spot. Calculated Loss, AFK and Consistency are all great econ augments, especially since you're usually gonna lose streak early game anyways, so you can just play a super cheap and weak board and make a lot of gold off the early game. Phony Frontline and Second Wind are gonna help your frontline, they're gonna give your Lagoon units more time to cast as well, and they're all really good into this comp. Gadget Expert is great, mostly because you get a static shift, which is a great item into this comp. Jeweled Lotus means that all of your Lagoon units can crit with their spells. With this one you only need Infinity Edge on Sohm, and then he's gonna do so much damage. Blue Battery is so good too. You're gonna get so much more mana for your whole team, more Lagoon stacks, and even more rewards. The same goes for High Tide, more mana is just great into this comp. And meanwhile Oasis also provides your team with a lot of really good defensive stats. Trade Sector can make it easier to hit the Lagoon units you want. And meanwhile Lagoon Crest and Heart can help you hit 6 and 9 Lagoon faster into the game. And it makes it a lot easier to fit a really good board at level 9. The same goes for Mage Heart and Mage Crest. You can fit 3 mages earlier while still having a lot of Lagoon units on your board. Cybernetic Uplink is super good too. More mana, more health for your frontline. Just remember to split your components. With this one you want to try and get one component on most of your units. And Luden's is just a lot of damage. Your team has a lot of casters, meaning that Luden's Echo is gonna do a lot of work. Cruel Pact is so good into this comp. With this one you can basically go level 7 super early into the game, meaning you're just gonna win streak early, you're gonna fit a lot of Lagoon units on your board, getting a lot of rewards into the late game. Ancient Archives can give you 2 tomes, which is potentially a Lagoon emblem and a Mage emblem. And lastly, New Recruit is gonna help you with fitting all the units you need on your board. And that, my friends, is the end of this guide. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and remember to sub and leave a like if this was helpful. Good luck out there, and I'll see you guys in the next one.